people, for the people. Gloucester FM 96.6.
I think it's imperative that we make you all fully aware of what the future holds for GFM. Many of you may not know that the Forest of Dean Radio, which is a community radio like ourselves, for want of a better word, was deemed one of the blue-eyed boys when we first got into this game, folded on the 31st of December. They are no longer broadcasting 24/7 like ourselves, simply because of funding. Again, this is a major issue for all community radio stations. There have been others who have secured licenses and not been able to fulfill their dream, which was to deliver music, news, information, advice, which so far we've been able to do. This year, actually, 2010, is 10 years since GFM has been broadcasting. Many of you may not know that, but we started out our first broadcast being for 22 days on the 6th of October to the end of October 2000. We coincided with Black History Month. We then set off on the road to acquire a full-time license, doing our research right up to we applied for a license. We were granted our license on the 10th of November 2005. We commenced broadcasting 21st of July, which happens to be my anniversary, 2006, and we've been here ever since. Now, the long and short of it is we are in our fourth year. I've also received information from Ofcom about a possible extension to our 5-year tenure. Now, what brings me here today is the seriousness in which I believe you, the listeners, need to understand where we are at. One of the criteria that's been set out is that we need to demonstrate that we have a minimum of at least 1 year's running cost. At least 1 year. What has happened primarily, most stations have been given licenses and not been able to even get off the ground, so you can understand where Ofcom's coming from. Now, from GFM's point of view, we're in a situation where, yes, we know we have listenership. People tell us that when we see them. We know that we have facts to confirm that. What we don't have is the revenue to keep us here. Now, for many of you who don't know, GFM costs approximately £24,000 each year to stay on air. In order for us to move forward, to look to the future, and for me, on behalf of the board, to submit another application, we need you, the community, to understand and accept and to do something and support us. Now, in our fundraising efforts, we have found that sometimes the community doesn't do what we would like it to do. Bantu was an example. He jumped out of an aeroplane, parachute jump to raise funds for us. We were disappointed with the amount of money raised via that sky jump. When you look at how many people, according to our website, people will see the phone calls, the texts and emails, listen to GFM. All we asked for was for support. We need to raise at least £24,000 this year before we can even consider our future. But I'm hopeful that you will understand why I'm here today, giving you a serious talk, which I'm sure some of you are probably frightened about, but you need to know what's going on. We pride ourselves on being open and transparent in whatever we do with GFM. Now, sometimes we know that we don't always touch the things we should or do the things we should, but that's life. The old saying goes, you can't please all the people all the time, but we endeavor to do that. What I'm going to say to you now, which seems fairly simple, and it is simple in many ways, we actually sell keyrings, GFM keyrings. Now, if you consider how many people live in the city of Gloucester and beyond who could support this station by buying a keyring. A keyring is £1. You may think, wow, keyring for £1. But there's two things here. You actually demonstrate your support for GFM by buying that keyring. That keyring is £1. Imagine if every one of our listeners bought a keyring or donated £1. I wouldn't be sat here telling you gloom, doom and gloom, because that's what it is. I'm a kind of guy, I'm fairly confident, I always believe that we can make it. But I think in the current situation we're in, and with the Forest of Dean Radio being down the road, and we being where we're at, it's important that you all fully understand what we need to do as a community. We need to pull together and to show that some of the things you've told me about that you enjoy, you cherish, you couldn't be without GFM, you need to keep it going to ensure that it's still here. Thank you.
That's the word, you heard me?
GFM.